Have you ever wondered if mermaids are more than fantasy? If they might actually be biblical? What I'm about to reveal comes from one of the most powerful lost texts ever associated with Scripture. A book removed from the biblical record for centuries for ages, cultures all over the world have described mysterious beings in the sea. Beings with one shared form, even though each civilization used different names. When so many ancient accounts match, we have to ask ourselves, were they all seeing the same thing? And if so, what were they? That answer hides inside a text long concealed from the world. Deep in the caves of Qumran, archaeologists uncovered a collection of ancient writings now called the Dead Sea Scrolls. Scrolls over 2,000 years old. These scrolls contained familiar scripture, like Genesis and Isaiah, but buried among them was a book that had been separated from the biblical canon for generations. A book known as the Book of Enoch. This text expands on subjects the modern Bible barely touches. Mysteries of creation, ancient beings, and yes, creatures described in ways that mirror what we now call mermaids. Enoch himself was the great-grandfather of Noah, which means this book is deeply connected to the earliest chapters of biblical history. Yet somehow, it was left out, hidden, forgotten. The Book of Enoch speaks to the very questions people have wrestled with for centuries. And while many Christians grow up believing the 66 books we have today are the entire story, Enoch reveals that there is far more beneath the surface, secrets, beings, and events the traditional canon never fully explains. Understand this, the Book of Enoch was discovered side by side with the same ancient texts that form the Bible we read today. It wasn't found in some distant cave of conspiracy. It was preserved with Scripture itself. So when those in power later decided to exclude it, that doesn't make Enoch less trustworthy. If anything, it makes us wonder just how powerful its contents might be. And now, this is where things get unbelievable. The Book of Enoch describes a mysterious of beings, and from their story comes the origin of what we now call mermaids. The story begins with a faction of angels known as the Watchers, heavenly beings who descended to earth and crossed a forbidden line by taking human women as wives. This unnatural union birthed the massive beings we read about in Genesis, the Nephilim, the giants of old. But the Watchers, the Nephilim, and the women involved all faced the consequences of that forbidden act. The Watchers were imprisoned in a realm called Tartarus, a place of deep confinement. The Nephilim were wiped out in the Great Flood, and the human women who joined with the angels were cursed with a fate unlike anything in Scripture. The Bible tells us that in the new earth, the oceans will no longer exist. That detail isn't random. It hints at how God views the depths of the sea, not as a place of peace, but as a realm tied to corruption and unclean forces. Perhaps that's why the oceans became the domain of marine spirits, the very beings we now call mermaids. Revelation 21:1 declares, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea." If the oceans are erased from the renewed creation, it raises a disturbing question. What exactly dwells within them now? Now that we've established these creatures have biblical roots, one thing becomes clear. They survived the Great Flood. Water is their natural habitat. While humanity perished on land, these aquatic beings simply endured beneath the waves. That alone explains the countless modern sightings people still report today and the eyewitness accounts. They all say the same thing. These beings are not peaceful. They are demonic. People who have encountered them describe the same chilling behavior. These creatures attempt to lure sailors away from their boats, pulling them toward the ocean's darkness. But it doesn't end there. Apparently, they don't limit themselves to oceans. Reports claim they appear in lakes, rivers, and hidden waterways, moving like shadows through the world's most remote waters. Mermaids are often called marine spirits, and the concept isn't new. They've been documented for thousands of years. One ancient Egyptian mural even depicts a full-scale war between humans and aquatic humanoid beings, creatures described with terrifying detail. Now let's step into some of the most unsettling first-hand encounters ever recorded about these beings. Out of all the testimonies I've studied, one story in particular has always stayed with me. Eerie, vivid, and impossible to shake. A woman, her name never documented, was spending the day at a lake while her family cooked nearby. It was a normal afternoon, until it wasn't. She had climbed onto a rock by the water, resting for a moment, when something unnatural happened. In her own words, everything just stopped. The sound of her family laughing in the distance. Gone the birds. Silent. Even the wind, completely still. It was as if the entire world paused. Then she saw it. A mermaid, its black, almond-shaped eyes fixed on her, rose slowly from the water. Before she could speak, she heard a voice, not with her ears but inside her mind, a chilling telepathic message. "I can make you jump into the water." Fear washed over her. She said the creature sensed her terror, seemed displeased by it, and then slipped back beneath the surface, disappearing into the depths as silently as it had arrived. That encounter is terrifying on its own, but what makes it even more disturbing is how many testimonies match this exact pattern. Stories of these beings trying to compel people to leap into deep water, and in many cases, those people are never seen again. Across cultures, mermaid lore takes many forms. Some traditions claim that seeing a mermaid brings wealth. Others believe these creatures physically take humans, dragging them underwater to unknown realms. When you consider how many civilizations across the world, separated by oceans, continents, and centuries, have recorded these beings in detail, it becomes nearly impossible to argue they're just myths. My conclusion is this: if cultures for thousands of years, up to today, all describe the same aquatic humanoid beings, these stories are too consistent to dismiss. If you've ever had your own encounter or strange experience in the water, let me know in the comments. I want to hear your story. Thank you for watching. And if you want to dig deeper into this ancient mystery, I've linked the Book of Enoch below so you can explore it for yourself.